Hello, beautiful people, and welcome to my podcast, where you can gain some insight on my perspective. My name is Hayden, and this is episode 2 of a series called 24 Lessons I've Learned in My 24 Years of Life. If you haven't already checked out last week's episode, it is episode 1, and it is called Having an Attitude of Gratitude. You do not by any means have to watch these in order, but I was just letting you know there is another episode before this if you feel called to watch it. You could definitely watch any of these episodes out of order, as they are all separate lessons. Some of them intertwine with one another, but I'm not following a specific storyline, so feel free to watch them in any order that you would like. In last week's episode, I mentioned that in this week's episode, I would tell you how to achieve your goals. And by the title of this episode, you could probably already tell what the two key factors are in doing so, which is discipline and consistency. You've probably already heard how self-discipline works. If you don't know what self-discipline is, it's essentially doing the things that you need to do even when you don't want to do it. Staying on top of your game, getting everything done that needs to get done. Say you have a to-do list and you want to achieve your list throughout the day, and you are like, okay, before I go to bed tonight, I'm going to achieve everything on this list. Or you have things on your list that you want to create into habits. So you make sure that you practice that. Say you want to learn Spanish. That's one of my goals right now, is to learn Spanish. I guess form into a habit, because there's no end goal in learning Spanish. Your goal is Spanish, like me. I have written the goal to practice Spanish for at least 15 minutes a day, every single day. And if I don't do that, then I'm not being disciplined, and I'm definitely not being consistent with it. If I don't even sit down for a minute to practice it, out the window. How am I going to learn Spanish, or say that I'm trying to learn Spanish when I'm not actively doing it? So maybe tomorrow comes around, I'm like, okay, I'm gonna sit down for at least 15 minutes today. And then I actually do it. I'm like, okay, I was disciplined. I disciplined myself to ensure that I get this done today, right? Tomorrow comes, I skip. Well, I don't really feel like doing it today, so I'm not gonna do it today. Oh, well, then the next day comes after that, and I'm like, well, I don't really feel like doing it today either, so. And then by the end of the week, I have only practiced Spanish maybe once or twice, and I did not hit the lesson that I wanted to hit. Or you wanted to read an article all in Spanish, so throughout the week you had to learn specific words, and then you only learned a little bit here and there, and you didn't follow what you had set up. You were disciplined to some extent, but you weren't consistent. The inconsistency led you to be very underprepared for you to be able to read the paragraph fully in Spanish, right? So that's why those two things are paired together. Because you could be disciplined and achieve your to-do list for the day, and then the next day not really have one. They go for your end goals, your continuous goals, your habits, your habitual routines. For example, I have a non-negotiable morning routine and night routine. I do this every single day, and it has only benefited me. So when I wake up in the morning, do my business, I take 15 minutes to get ready, but I give myself an hour. And why do I give myself an hour? It gives me a chance to fully wake up. So I do everything I need to do. I do, like, brush my teeth, put my minoxidil in my hair, wash my face, all that good stuff. I come in here, my work clothes are already laid out. So I just lay out my work clothes the night before. It's less of a hassle in the morning. Plus, I'm the very first person up in this house because I'm a barista that works early morning shifts. So I try to be as quiet as possible, even when I take my dog out, which is also part of my routine. I give myself 10 minutes to take him outside and fill up my water bottle. It's an everyday thing, except for my days off. My routine's a bit more lax. It's a little different. Yeah, my non-negotiable is that 15 minutes that I take brushing my teeth, washing my face, and putting my minoxidil in my hair. That is my non-negotiable. Those 15 minutes are purely for myself. Make it 20 so that I can get dressed, and that's my morning routine, and that's something I've been doing for 2 months, and I don't think twice about it because I made it habitual. I stayed disciplined and consistent in doing those things, and now they're easy. Usually when you're trying to set yourself up for success in a way in which you want to achieve something, or you want to start practicing something every day, it can feel daunting because you're like, ugh, I have to do this every single day. After a while, you don't think twice about it. You just do it. You just do it, and it's not a big deal. We often overthink so many things, right? In the grand scheme of things, what we're trying to do really isn't that hard. It's been done before, so we know it is possible. So why is our mind telling us that it's not? It's a mind game. Even when you don't feel like doing it, you gotta do it. That's discipline. Even when you don't feel like doing it every single day, you have to, because that's how habits are formed, is by doing something every single day. You build a momentum, and that momentum carries you. Maybe you do have an end goal that you're trying to reach, but if you keep skipping days, you're pushing yourself farther and farther and farther away from the goal that you're trying to reach. So keep that in mind, and that is why discipline and consistency are very important elements into achieving your goals or whatever it may be. Another example, this really took some persistence. I was determined, persistent, disciplined, and consistent. I taught myself how to ride a unicycle when I was young. I have a cousin, family friend person in my life that she was like, oh, I have a unicycle, and started riding it outside. I was like, people just have those? I thought those were like only in the circus. I didn't know that we could actually like learn how to ride those. And me having good balance, always growing up snowboarding and skateboarding, I was like, let me hop on this. Let me try it. I fell. I fell over and over and over and over and over again. But one thing that my parents taught me is when you fall, you get back up. That's where I get like my grit from, because I don't quit the moment something bad happens, because it's just another obstacle. And with riding a unicycle, no matter how many times I fell, got back up, I tried different things. If I tried to progress too quickly, I took a step back and took it slow. So when you're learning how to ride a unicycle, you're trying to feel the pedals and idle and find the balance and stack yourself so that you're not falling over. Once I got the feel, I was idling a little bit. I held onto a tree and I just kept going around the tree, because I wanted to feel what it felt like pedaling. Of course, I could hold my cousin's hands and she could kind of hold me up and guide me, but most of the time the unicycle would fling out and hit you in the shin, and it was, all right, let's take a step back, let's go to the tree. I never gave up on doing it, and we were on vacation, so I didn't have access to the unicycle. By the time we got back, you know, it was something I was very persistent about, and our neighbors actually had an old one in their garage, which was really cool. So they brought it down for me, and I hopped on it and I started riding it. And they were like, whoa, that's crazy. Like, you actually know how to ride a unicycle. That's who just learns how to do that. I don't know. But I started riding it every single day. Even after soccer practice, I would come home, I'd ride it after my soccer game. And then I told my dad, like, he knew that I wanted a better one. This one was like really old, like old banana bicycle seat, like the tire, I don't know, like a thick, heavy material in it, almost like cement. It wasn't the inflatable tube that are in tires now. It was an old unicycle. It was really cool. It was antique. But yeah, my dad ended up going to a bicycle shop and surprising me with my own blue and black unicycle that I still have to this day. All that to say that I was consistent and disciplined with learning how to ride that a lot of people look at a unicycle and will say that is impossible to ride. If somebody else has done it, that doesn't mean it's not possible. It's very much possible. It's how much time, effort, and grit are you going to put into this? How disciplined and consistent are you going to be so that you can actually ride this without falling off or ride long distances? I ended up riding that to my local Dairy Queen. I was ballsy. I didn't care what people thought of me. I rode my bike and my ripstick and many other things, my skateboard, but there were some days I was just like, I got a unicycle, let me just take it to the Dairy Queen. I'll go get my ice cream, sit down, I'll ride it back. I'll give you guys another example. So habit-wise, I created a really bad habit from a young age because I was sneaky. No fault to my parents, I guess, because they did allow me to do a lot as a kid. I just took advantage of that sometimes. So I unfortunately picked up the habit of smoking when I was 13. I started off with cigarettes. Tried a cigarette for the first time, wanted to be cool, so even though I coughed my head off, I took another one. I smoked about 2.5 cigarettes my very first day outside of my house, on the side of my house while my parents were not home, and it was me and my brother and his friends. They also had alcohol, and I had already had alcohol at that time. I never got addicted to alcohol, bliss. Can't say the same for some other people. Yeah, this was the start of an addiction that I did not see coming. Cigarettes didn't last long. After I smoked my first pack, I felt like I had committed the worst sin on earth. I was raised in a Christian household and everything was a sin. And me smoking an entire pack of cigarettes at 14 years old, that was a lot. Between ages 14 and 15, vapes started getting really popular. Different flavors started coming out, and my brother's friends would help me get them. I had friends that would get them for me that were older. I got addicted. I was constantly needing more, and then Juuls came out, and I got somebody to buy me a Juul, and then I had somebody that would always get me Juul pods. So yeah, Juuls were a big thing. Got addicted to Juuls, and then more flavored vapes came out. Between 15, 16, 17, this is where I was like heavily addicted and nobody knew. Except for some of my friends I would hang around. They knew that I vaped a lot and that I needed it, wherever we went, I always had a vape in my pocket. And it was very unfortunate because like it became such a normal thing. And my friends weren't rude to me about it. They were just worried that I was getting addicted. And I don't know if they already knew, but I had been addicted for a long time at this point. I remember my mom catching me with my friend's vape. I wanted to borrow it because I didn't understand that the need for it, the fiending for it, was me being addicted to it, and I couldn't go a night without it. My friend was staying at somebody else's house and she didn't want her mom to find it, so I had it and I put it under my pillow. Did not know my mom was gonna make my bed while I was at school. And when I came home, lo and behold, she was pissed and there was a vape sitting on my pillow. She said hi to me like normal. I went upstairs, put my backpack in my room, went to go hit the vape, and I saw it sitting on my pillow, and my heart dropped to my ass. I'll never forget that. Now I'm just sharing a very long story, but to make a long story short, I got into college and I had a vape shop right across from my apartment. I was there every week, and then I battled with it for a few years, even after moving in with my dad. He didn't like I was using it, and it was so hard. I kept trying to quit, but that was the thing, I was trying. When you're trying, you're not actively doing something. So it was me trying to wean myself off. Then I tried quitting cold turkey and it never worked, and I had like a full-blown panic attack, which was self-induced. It's just a mind game is all it is. For me to actually quit, I got my wisdom teeth out and I was like, this is it. Because I tried to quit after I got top surgery in 2020, and 6 weeks, once I was healed, I went and bought a vape. Worst decision, because I had gone 6 weeks without nicotine for the first time in 6 years. I quit nicotine 2 years ago. Well, it will be 2 years this April. April 1st, actually. It's not an April Fool's joke, I swear. I got my wisdom teeth out on April Fool's Day. That happened to be my very first 24 hours without nicotine. My teeth have always caused me issues. All 4 of my wisdom teeth were impacted. Constantly had migraines, and I was like, you know what? It is not worth it. I do not want to live in pain. I didn't know that people lived without pain. That's how much pain I always had going on in my body, from vaping, from my teeth, from not taking care of myself. I was just always in pain. After not having nicotine for 2 years, after just giving up smoking in general, drinking a lot less, like I feel great. The only thing I've been working on is my eating habits, but quitting the nicotine vaping, that is something I had to practice every single day. First day, no nicotine. You're gonna feel very antsy your first 2 weeks. Then your 3rd week comes out, and then you're chilling. And before you know it, 2 years have gone by and you don't even crave it anymore. I know there's a lot of people younger than me, some people that aren't even of age, that are addicted to nicotine, because that was me, and I don't judge you for it. I just really hope that someday you're able to get off of it, because it is very detrimental to your health and it does affect you. If you're disciplined and consistent, you will achieve the goal of quitting, if that is a goal of yours. That goes for anything. End goals, continuous goals, habitual routines, all of that. Discipline and consistency are the keys to success. Thank you guys so much for tuning into episode 2 of this series called 24 Lessons I've Learned in My 24 Years of Life. I'll be looking forward to talking to you guys in next week's episode, which would be episode 3, where I talk about how words hold power. Thank you guys so much for watching and listening wherever you're at. Have a great day.